All right, I am inviting you now into my wet studio, which is a terrible mess, but that's okay. That's what it's supposed to be. It's messy. So the first thing I get ready is my ferrous sulfate water, and I'm going to prepare my carrier cloth, and I'm going to derp it out as much as I can. So there's my carrier cloth. I've also put some of my ferrous water into this to dip my plant life into, and I'm done with that. Set that aside. And we're just going to be running two experiments here, one with paper and one with fabric. So let's do the paper one first. And I use Teflon sheets, and these Teflon sheets are made for a heat press. So what I'm going to do is I have taken just this felt, buy it at any craft store, Joann Fabrics, any place. I'm going to wring it out the best I can, which doesn't have to be perfect, but the wetter it is, the less clear the images are. So I'm going to put two layers down, and let's start with the paper. This paper has already been soaked in my alum, our aluminum acetate powder. So it's already been soaked and dried. Let's see how it works on dry paper. And as you can tell from my flower basket, I've only used flowers because I've discovered that they just don't do well with leaves. It just doesn't get hot enough. So all I'm going to do is just lay my leaves down here. And the nice thing about this is I can use things like big, huge echinacea that in the past I could not use because it was too thick. With my heat press, it will press everything out. So I'm just going to lay those down. Randomly, if I use a piece of marigold, and I'm going to lay two more pieces of my craft felt, wring it out, lay it down, put another piece of Teflon on top of that. Teflon, felt, paper, flowers, Teflon. Let's put another one in there, just for the fun of it. Okay, this is already preheated. I have this set at open that up, put it in, watch that I don't burn myself. This is where the heat is coming from. Close it down, and when everything is really wet, it starts dripping over the sides, all the water. You can see all the steam coming up, so I leave a towel here to absorb all my water so I don't make a mess. And while I'm waiting for that to cook, I'm going to do my next one here. Bring that out, lay two pieces of craft felt down. Then I'm going to lay my carrier cloth down, which is just any cloth. You can use cotton, you can use wool, you can use silk. I'm going to lay that down first. Then I'm going to lay down a piece of fabric. My surface is 15 by 15, so I've cut this 15 by 15. I'm going to take my second piece, and if you want to, you can leave it in one piece if you need it for more yardage. So I could have cut this 15 by 30. But just for ease, I did it that way. Bring this out. Open it up, and it is very hot. So I grab it by the edges of the Teflon, I lay it there, and I close this up because it's gone down to 325. And I want to make sure it reheats. So now I am going to pull, and if you cook it too hot or too long, what you'll discover is that it bakes the cloth. It gets everything out of there moisture-wise. So put that back in there, and you can see my papers. Just start taking them off, and voila. You'll see just amazing images. And this is what I like about the heat press. What I don't like about the heat press is you'll see this created that wonderful piece of paper, but on the back side it's just muddy. Really nothing on that back side. I've put them in on the second side after they've dried, and they're okay that way. They're not great, but again, wonderful images. Muddy on the back side. So I have the back side that I can now use to do some artwork on and do some embellishment on. Now I am ready to do my second piece, which I have gotten ready. This one I only put the plant life between the two pieces. I could have put them on the top also and created even more imagery on there, but I didn't. But as you can see, got some great images. And here's the second bottom layer. And because the silk is thin enough, I was able, look at that. I'm just loving this echinacea. And that's the bottom sheet. And voila, now I have two pieces of fabric and a very pristine white background. And look at my carrier cloth. That's even